The Sunday Spank.
Well, all right, party people, the place to be, vandals, and all the people that are living out the actual apocalypse, because it's going on, people. This is a brand new episode of How Did We Get Here? And man, this is our one of our favorite little spin-off formats that we do, because we talk to our good buddy, who I'm going to go ahead and let introduce not just the episode but himself. How are you doing this afternoon/evening?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm Matt. I'm from the End podcast, where we, somewhat regularly and somewhat sporadically upload podcasts on comics and films. Not too dissimilar to what the Mighty Fine Gentlemen of How Do We Get Here do. In actual fact, Joe's now pretty much a regular, aren't you? We don't do too many episodes without you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, because we got him on the cast here. I just steal your ideas. Sometimes he'll tell me what you guys are doing. I'm like, okay, we'll do the episode about that too. Like,
well, that way,
works for me. That's less work for me.
Yeah,
so
make it easier on Joe. So, yeah, I've done it a few times, like with 30 Days a Night, and I think with the movie too. We've like kind of
maybe, I don't know. Well,
a couple of
you guys are pretty up to date with the movies for the End pod, so it's I mean, you usually do all the movies before we do, because you guys like hit it when it releases in theaters, and we usually do it when it hits VOD. So
yeah. I mean, unless it's that Sinners episode that I've not edited or uploaded yet, where I missed the week of release, and then the VOD, which was the intention, and at some point it's going to be on terrestrial television. Oh, it's going to end up on Netflix.
That's cool. We did an episode of Phono, our friend show, kind of supposed to be about that movie, and we never talked about it. I don't think we even talked about vampires at all, did we?
I don't know. Yeah. But that show never. There's always a theme that is never talked about.
It's tough though, because I mean we're all. I mean, I can't even really speak for me and Tim, because obviously I have a weekly. But our work schedule can become so spasmodic that even with the best of intentions, it's just. And then, as a sort of middle functioning alcoholic, then that eats into my spare time a lot as well.
Well, just an example. This episode, I went and checked because
the charm.
Yeah, this episode I went and checked when I did the intro, and it was written June 24th of 2024. So I'm like, oh shit! It's almost been a full year when we originally tried to record this episode.
The cool thing though is the time that we've taken, like how much AI has changed. Because when we would have done it back then, there would have only been like ChatGPT and like the image generator stuff. Now we actually got like the the chatbots that can talk to you, and dudes falling in love with their chatbots, and like Babylon, like now it's like more, or not Babylon, Balloon is looking kind of like an actual like thing that could exist in the very near future, and we might all get one, like the I don't know, the eye balloon. That'd be cool. It'd be in real life, though, right? Like it would be so small in real life.
It saved me hundreds of pounds on therapy. I just get ChatGPT up in the like flirty American lady voice. Okay, dude, I'm really struggling today. Can you help me out a bit? She goes, sure. What would you like me to help you with? I've got too much work on it. It's making me anxious, and plus, I know what's going to happen at the weekend. I'm going to have the best of intentions, but I know I will get drunk at some point. Hey, don't worry. We haven't crossed that bridge yet. Let's just focus on the job in hand. Let's say, how much work do you have?
This book takes place like while Babylon is a child. Just think of like it got to his teenagers, and he did do that. He's like, Balloon, talk to me. Sound like Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, like the Joaquin Phoenix movie. Yeah.
Call me a dirty little boy. I'm a dirty little boy, aren't I?
What was that movie called? Where he falls in love with his phone.
Her.
Okay, yes,
Her.
That's it. Yes, Her.
Was that after he? Oh no, I'm thinking of the other Joker. I'm thinking of Heath Ledger. It
was before he even did the first Joker.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Go ahead. You were going to say something?
No, I can't remember. I feel a bit flustered because you know as well as I do that you could drop Tim into our podcast, and in actual fact, he's been up at like 2 a.m. some episodes.
Yeah,
and like he needs no rehearsal. He needs no revision. He needs no inspection. His brain just works perfectly for a podcast, and he all comes out with like mic drop moments. Me, I'm all about the preparation. So
I think it's also like he's a lawyer, right? So he's probably used to putting things together quick and being very articulate about what
having talk. Having to talk with very little knowledge or something. Yeah.
He's a dirty lawyer, so.
Well, in Tim's defense, he also thinks that lawyers are dirty little boys. And he said the only way that he could possibly live with his decision of becoming a lawyer was to be an environmental lawyer. So at least he was doing something he could bear.
Does he ever yell objection at you? Like if he doesn't like something, you're like one of your takes, he's just like, objection!
That would be funny. That would be funny.
Because what would it be like? Circumstantial. Objection, leading the writer. Overruled.
Yeah. All right, Matt. So what are we talking about today?
What we're talking about is the second year of Images East of West. And it is from the savant, Jonathan Hickman. And there's a lot of blank pages at the front of this. Where's it gone? Who does the drawing? Who does all the
Nick Dragotta.
Yeah.
Actually, I think he's American, so it's Dragotta.
Oh, here we go. I found it. Nick Dragotta. The colours are Frank Martin, and at the behest of Joe, I shan't be telling you who does the letters.
Yes, you can. You can say it.
We're just not going to put it in the banner.
I didn't feel like writing it in the banner. I was like, fuck it.
And you know what? I respect your decision, so I too shall be ignoring the letter.
But if I had to take a guess, if I had to remember, it's Russ. Russ
Tim Robbins.
Watton.
Yeah, Russ Watton. Yeah.
Is that how you say it? I've always said Wooten. Okay.
I always said Wonton, but I mean that's not.
That's a delicious soup.
I digress.
And this story is indeed a delicious soup. It combines science fiction, American history, Western tropes, and biblical imagery nonetheless. And it's this smorgasbord that's being pushed together under an immense pressure. And we're going to see what forms at the end of it, Joe. Now, this is the middle third of surprisingly 3 oversized hardcovers, which we are making our way through. Now, beforehand, I didn't have a chance to go through our previous episode from a year ago on the first year of East of West, but I can remember being a little bit uppity on it because I think I still had a bad Hickman taste at the back of my mouth from his X-Men foray. And
you can never hold people's big two against him, man.
I understand what you're saying, but I just read his Avengers, and that was bloody marvelous.
Yeah, it is night and day, like how good Avengers was and how kind of crap his X-Men was.
And then all of a sudden, I could understand why there was this big hoo-ha about him actually doing the X-Men, because I was quite happy with what Rosenberg was doing. It was risky. It was kind of a little bit dark. It was not what was expected from either the writer.
I was kind of a dick about the Rosie run too, but like after reading the Hickman, I would have liked Rosie staying on it, to tell you the truth.
And the thing is, as well, when it was split between, who's the guy that I don't like? Brisson. Well, I don't dislike him. I'm not a fan. I don't dislike. He's just a bit meh. There was him, Kelly Thompson, and another guy that they brought in, and they just got in each other's way for the weekly solicit. But when it went to monthly and it was just him, so maybe after 6 months or maybe after 3 months, his really sung. He said he kept. Yeah. And it was with such wanton abandon of a man that knew that the whole world was soon to be restructured.
Yeah. When the X-Men was weekly, it was way worse than when
it was trash. One of the worst. And that era produced some pretty good ones. You had Tom Taylor that did Avengers Red. That was pretty cool. You had Astonishing X-Men. I think maybe that was the Charles Soule one with God, it's been such a long while since I've read any. Here's the guy with the Fez, not Mojo, but he was in the Legion series.
Oh,
he was like a Dreams World guy.
Don't know.
Yeah. Morocco Mole. Like when you say the guy with the Fez.
Anyway, the point being, gentlemen, is I think I had a bad taste in my mouth from just recently getting off the X-Men. And I was a bit like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to read 3 of these. This is actually boring. And I'm actually glad that we've had the year hiatus in between the last one and this one, because I started from scratch because I couldn't read it. And I really enjoyed it this time. It's like having a completely fresh ideas. And I think some of that was reading it in a week. It's pretty rapid, so you don't have time for something to sink in and sort of really permutate through your ideas, and to you read in like maybe 5 issues one night, 3 the next, 2, 5. And it's hard to grasp when you have so many different sets. It's kind of like the first season of Game of Thrones. I was like, it's just another weird dude in a dark fucking castle. Like, I don't know, except you've got the blonde people, you've got the guys on the wall, and then you've got 5 different groups of guys in dark castles. And then we go somewhere where a young man shagging someone.
And then you got the snowy guys too. Like that would be the
winter is coming was like how many times did you hear that fucking slogan before?
Well, everyone was coming in that first series. It was fucking salacious.
Who do you think cast more characters, man? Like I think East and West might edge out. Like maybe the TV show. I think the books probably have way more, because people would always say that they're like way cooler characters, like in the books that never made the show. But like,
well, East and West has been on telly.
No,
but comparing Game of Thrones to East and
West. Right.
The show, because like I was like laughing about it being almost like War and Peace. There's like almost 400 fucking characters in this thing. It's like almost like a Russian novel, Dostoevsky or something like that.
Yeah. So the familiarity really helped me along. It cut out a lot of the sort of opening gambit of getting to know the types and the archetypes of each of the groups. And
exactly.
I could just go straight in and enjoy the story. And I shouldn't have to read it twice for that, but I'm glad that I needed to, basically.
Well, I think Joe and I were talking about too, is like the first book, the first hardcover, the first year, it's basically like about the world. The world is the characters. Sure, you are meeting everybody, but like they are just like expositions at that point. This second book is where like the characters actually take off. You actually really get to know John Freeman and everybody else besides Death, you know what I mean? And like I like the way that it's paced, you know what I mean? That like it knows how to do escalation very well. Like it just keeps ramping things up, and like it does it so excellently to where like this year that we're about to finish has like 2 of the most exciting fucking action set pieces I've ever read. There at like the very end of like basically the last trade of the 3 trades that make this book is just like action, and it's fucking great.
Yeah, because year 1 you get the introduction of Babylon, and the 4 horsemen are out to get him, and it kind of ends right as he's on the run and they're after him. You have Ezra Orion, who kind of
Jude Law,
who kind of swallows the book, and then the monster and all that. So that's kind of he takes. So now all the characters are in place. Their motivations are more clear. So now like Apocalypse year 2 is when all these characters are set into motion, and it's really fun.
Yeah, I know, and you're absolutely right, Johnny. I mean, it is, I wouldn't say expositional, but the first year is the exposition. So when it really gets down to the brass tacks of it, that you already know exactly what these people are, their motivations, their background, what's led them to make the decisions. And there's people that you like, there's people you dislike, and there's people you like but you want to dislike, and there's people you dislike that you really want to like. Like really does play like it's not. I said there's types and archetypes, but nothing's set in stone. And it's not with a big turn of the page. Oh no, he didn't. It's that there's a real progressive learning within the characters, and that shows. I know it's a phrase that I probably overuse, but it just shows trust in the reader. Trust in the reader to read it twice.
That's the thing about like a good book, and like I don't know, like there is a lot to take in this book. Like sure, there are some parts that will go along pretty fast, like the action, but like whenever you know Archibald Chamberlain's on the page, you're gonna have to read, like, and probably a bit like Alan Moore, like bunches of text. But then like once you pass on that and you like start following like Crow or Crow and Wolf for a little bit, then it's kind of like more brisk. So like it does kind of like have like a back and forth of like being breezy and then being wordy, but I think that it's paced properly enough that like maybe the first third of the book you could maybe be like you said, like a little bit like this is boring, but like I think once you get used to it and once like everything's happening, like you got like all the different factions actually scheming on each other, like in this book, it gets way more exciting, you know what I mean? And I think that he changes between cast members faster now than he used to. He used to like be full issues with certain characters, and now it's more like you kind of like soap operatically every couple pages like shift. Yeah.
I like as well how the kind of post-credit pages they would to show you what was going on a little bit with another group of people, maybe to set something up in a couple of issues. Now it's kind of, there's a situation, you get your sort of title card page, and then you flip over, and it's to show, oh, this went this way then. Do you know what I mean? Like it just shows you the conclusion or the consequence of the focus of that issue. It's cool. And that's knowing the ebb and flow of how to tell a story, like the give and take of it.
And I think we get a lot more sci-fi in this one. Like, whereas like the first, it was like way more Western. Like this one, it's downright like, it's very, very sci-fi. You get like all kinds of really cool turn pages as well. Like Dragotta's art really gets to sing. Like it always did, but like in this, like, oh man, there's just some stuff that just.
Well, I think it's with the introduction of Babylon, the character, that the sci-fi, there was more sci-fi introduced to it, especially with him, with his AI companion, the balloon. You get that. And that first issue 16, is really...
with Texas just getting taken over by the nation. And like, you just get like these cool mechs, just obliterations of fucking entire armies.
Yeah, definitely like Philip K. Dick vibes.
Yeah. And then issue 17 is where you get Babylon, where he's out in the wild running on the run, right? And that's when Ezra tracks him down, or Jude Law tracks him down.
Yeah.
And this is where you really get to see the fun stuff. This, like, I love what you see in the real world and what the balloon, the character's friend balloon, the AI companion, what he shows him at. Like how he interprets it for Balloon to see. Yeah, so it's great. Like all the gruesome things. Yeah, all the gruesome. Where he's
going into the woods, you see that they're just like normal, but then like what Balloon shows them, they're all twisted, look like some shit from Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's like backwards, right? Everything that's beautiful is like macabre and dreadful, and everything that's like ugly and disgusting ends up being cute and adorable, but with a little hint, like when he sees the beast, right? The big monster, he sees a giant gerbil. I love the little pixelation too in the art and stuff. It kind of gives that kind of like AI vibe. But then there's the cuteness, but then you got the little gross, right? There's like a little hint that something's not right in the art. Like I love the way they throw that in there. Like it's cute, but there's like something a little off about it, like the pixelation.
I mean, it's kind of like classic Plato's Cave, isn't it? That if you're chained, you can only see the silhouettes on the back of a wall, almost like a shadow puppet show. When you're sort of unbound, taken from bondage, and you're allowed out of the cave, then you see the gloriousness of the world. And I think there's a sort of element for that. Obviously, I don't know what happens in the final year, because it's first time reading. Well, the first time, two-time reading.
But read past this. arc. This
Yeah.
that's what you're saying.
And I think there's probably going to be a moment where he is like revealed to the world, or the world revealed to him, and then he'll realize the majesty that's there. And I think when he's showing the good is bad, I think that's to keep the reverence of the tenet that he's being indoctrinated with, that the world's bad, it's inherently unjust, and a moralist society that needs to be cleansed and then rebuilt. However, I think when it's with the gerbil, that's in the benefit of the journey, because he needs to see that person because he's like a sort of ally as opposed to a foe. So he needs him to perceive that person circumstantially as inherent good.
Yeah. And you do get to see a softer side to the beast. Up to this point, he was just a threatening presence, right? And then you see like the softer side, like he actually starts playing with Babylon, and they kind of, they have a little tender moments, like
he's using him as a jump rope.
Yeah, which is a little comical, it's kind of
it's cool,
lighthearted, like
well,
a lot of the stuff.
Beast is enjoying it though, like he literally is like as innocent as the gerbil that he saw, which is kind of I thought was pretty neat storytelling, and kind of it's a neat way that he bounces, because there's so much of this book that's like metal as hell, you know what I mean, like just gory, but like all the stuff with Babylon, it's a neat balance to it. It's kind of opposed to a lot of like what you see in the book, so it's really neat. Like Joe, I know he's got a huge affinity for Babylon, and I do too, just because like he's such a neat innocent character that like even though like he is being tainted by this balloon, like he still sees through it in his own way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially that's
a little bit later,
that's issue 9.
The little piggy.
I'm skipping ahead because on issue 17 or 18, that's when Death and who's his girlfriend, his wife or whatever. Zal.
Well, New China girl. New China leader. I'm not gonna be down with the names. I could have a crib sheet, of course. Maybe I will have a crib sheet for the next one, but
I think it's just I can't pronounce it right. Zalian Mao.
Zhaolin,
Zhaolin.
I love the way this scene is broke down.
Exactly. Where they're introduced, and it's like then you have Wolf out there wrestling with, I think it's what's his name, Warzone or whatever.
Makers,
yeah. So and then
this when they turn around and see him, and there was just like, oh damn.
The expressions are just so good on that page. It's so funny. Like, oh, what do we have here?
Well, and I love the heartbreakingness of like a little bit later where you get this like really great goodbye scene between them, and like it just leaves you with the knowledge right there of like this is the last time he ever sees her again, which is a fun play on words, and I'm not going to spoil it for Spanky, but seeing again is like kind of a nice play.
So that's fun.
Yeah, let me erase some stuff really fast so I can make room for the what you want to talk about, Joe.
Yeah, that's it, because that leads into issue 19, which is more Babylon. But this is like
the beginning of this, like you get this really great scene with the horsemen where like they're just they find the fields of blood from the Texas and war, and like they're just drinking the blood, and kind of like I love the horsemen characters. They're such little shits, but like they're metal as hell, man. I'm just like chilling. Like Red just comes out of War just comes out of the pool of blood. Like dude. It really sells you fast. And Conquest, he like fucking takes this poor handicapped guy and basically turns him into a human horse, man. Like
Jed.
Stuff happens right off the bat.
I love the way, just for completely superficial means, because he's riding in horseback on his traps as he's hunched over, that he decides that, well, I need something to hold on to. So he makes the bloke open his mouth and he puts handlebars in, and then he makes him clench his jaw. So he's steering. Like, there's whimsy to the onslaught.
And there's a few other things, like basically after the war with Texas, everybody's trying to make friends with the nation. The Americans, like, they keep trying to like make contact with them, but like they just keep getting in the heads of their envoys sent back. But the nation and Zhao Lin, the House of Mao, they do team up like that.
Yeah.
That is like a faction that's happening, and basically like they gave the nation some Widowmakers, and basically like the nation is going to help them out more than like she's helping them out, though, to tell you the truth. It was kind of like a one-sided bargain that happened, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, because like the nation would win, but it's just to like take away the collateral damage of that battle.
Well, they don't have a lot of people. They just have like their machines, kind of, and like I guess even though they were super victorious with Texas, their machines got busted up. Right?
But Texas is like it's a nothing, isn't it? It's just a bit of wind and gusto. Like it doesn't have any. It doesn't have the defense. It doesn't have the money. It's kind of like the poor relation to these two nations.
But like after like they talked to Jude Law and like he reprogrammed Balloon. Balloon basically made it so like he was feeding Babylon like kind of like through a feeding tube, like protein and stuff. But like now he's actually getting hungry, and like he's trying to force him to kill something, and like there's
this is issue 19. This is where I'm like, oh, this is the first time I was reading like the Babylon, and I was like, you know, he's cute, he's innocent, like you said, he's very good-hearted and stuff. And this is where I was like, oh, are we gonna see him like the loss of innocence, right? Like he kills all those boars and stuff, and he sees them as like ugly little creatures, so it kind of makes him feel less bad. He doesn't see like the squirrel as a cute little creature, right, or anything. And the boars come and they look like monsters that want to eat him. Although they are boars, in all due respect, boars are aggressive, and you have to be careful. So I mean, that's not a far stretch. But then you get to the part where, oh, those boars did have a little one, and this is where I was like, oh, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna?
Balloon is talking a lot of shit. He's telling like this thing's come for you. It's gonna be like Kill Bill. It's gonna want fucking revenge. It's gonna hunt you down for the rest of its life.
Yeah. I was like, are they gonna do it? This is like, for me, when I was reading it, like from issue to issue, this was like, I was like, this is it. This is his big turning point. His moment where. Is he going to continue on a path of more like righteousness, or is he going to like go down the path of like becoming kind of like the horse of the apocalypse, right? The four horsemen and stuff, and just vile and just killing for power and
he's supposed to be the great beast.
Yeah,
freaking Babylon to be. He's actually supposed to like be the thing that opens the pit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, thankfully. He doesn't kill the cute little pig.
Oh, spoilers! We're gonna get to that like at the end of the book.
It's not. It's before the end. It's this issue. You mean?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Like what I meant is like that's in the last trade. It's in the last third of the book where you see that like he didn't like where you say
because it skips ahead. Actually, this it's like almost a full year, right? Like year 1, year 2. Is it really like a year, or is it like maybe a little more?
Well, look at how big the pig is. Look at how big Mr. Tuscus is at the end when like he's playing with it. It's like a big full-sized boar. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah,
he rides on it like a
yeah. Mr. What was it you say, Mr. Tusks?
Professor Tuscius, I think is what he calls it.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
I was thinking as well. He'd never have any. He'd never have any perception of the self, because he's never. I mean, I know they run systems and scenarios through his head, like kind of like the Matrix, where he's prepared for any eventuality.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, does he see that from first person? Because it would only make sense if he saw it from first person in those scenarios. So, like, this is probably in year 2, the first time when he has any perception of himself. Like, he probably has the ego, but he's only really, and even then, without really ever seeing yourself, like can you really know who you are? Because a lot of our perceptions of yourself, like the first thing, if you say, well, describe such and such, you always go to what they look like, and then you might say what they do for a job, or if they're cool, or you might go, "Oh, he's a cool guy." Or do you know the white dude, the black dude, or the haircut he has? He has a mullet, or he has like short hair, or he has a beard or a mustache. So it's kind of, it's interesting to see where that character goes, and if that sort of journey of self-perception does grow with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, it's good stuff. And then what is it? Shortly after that, you have what's her name, LaFay with Doma.
Yeah. I love the way the second book starts up with her basically showing like all the different boxes. Like one's got like half a bud in it and stuff. And go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just saying. Then it the next issue kind of dives into the politics of the book, right? The different factions and stuff, and kind of touches on that a bit. And this one,
Doma, she basically decides that Doma like needs to go and be the next envoy because like she's the only person she's got left, so she's gonna have to go talk to the nation, which kind of like really ends up biting Morgana in the ass, in my opinion.
And this is where she's introduced to the dragon was the guy, and the girl with the hand on the face. What was her name again?
Give it to me, Joe. Give it to me.
The Widowmakers, the two.
Widowmaker, the Widowmaker. Yeah, that's it. The Widowmaker.
She sees like the nation. They got this big droid that's just gonna fucking tear Doma's arms and legs off because they are going to send her back to Morgana Le Fay, basically saying that like the nation, basically they are the personified white man that the nation like wants to take everything out of. Like they do not have any will to ever work with the Americans. You know what I mean?
And there's one thing I found, they always do a little bit of a flashback, right?
Yeah, I love one thing. Flashback with her.
I love how it's hazy. Yeah, the way it's colored, it's kind of got a haze, like a sepia,
dusky.
Dusky, like over. So you know it's a flashback. It's got a much soft to it and stuff, you know. And
you know what I want to see, Joe. Give me what I want to see. Show me.
It's coming up next. It's coming up next issue. But they do a great job with all the flashbacks.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to talk about the art in the when the chief drives into the Deadlands, man, and like I love this turn page where like the dead creatures are come after him, and like he tilts his horse down and just boom, like we're just talking about badass sci-fi shit. Like, you don't get cooler sci-fi than that, man. That is
and the onomatopoeia is fantastic in this book.
Yeah,
she's low-key my favorite character in this. Like, definitely. Because she has, like, a slight amount of enigma about her as well. Like,
Doma?
Yeah, like self-preservation. Like, she seems the only one that's clued into the comings and goings of all parts that isn't led by sort of tenet or instructions. She's just trying to keep alive.
Yeah. Well, and she's kind of like the biggest agent of chaos amongst the younger, kind of cast members. She kind of like we'll see is kind of running with like a lot of them that like that nobody knows about.
Like she tries to be helpful, but not too helpful. So she's when she's saying, "Look, we need to send somebody out here," and she's saying, "Well, it kind of feels like all your whatever they were, like agents or regents or whatever. Well, it kind of feels like." They always come back dead, so maybe that's not what we need to do. She goes, yeah, very good. We need somebody that's closer to me. She goes, absolutely. We need someone that they won't suspect, someone of value that they can see I'm being serious. She's going, absolutely right. And then she goes, you should go. And she's like, oh! Like there is some dark comedy in this laced throughout, which isn't something that you would associate with Hickman.
Yeah, but it is well done. Like you said, the setup is great. Yeah, and then there's always that little like the history, like how it's like you would never think that the what are they called, the Widowmaker and her had any kind of history, but then you go back into there and you're like,
really cool.
She was trained as one too, right? Like Doma's basically a Widowmaker, right?
Yeah. And they said the great thing was, I don't need you to be another soldier. We have plenty of soldiers. We have plenty of very good soldiers. What I need you to be is like the sharp end of the knife, the one that they don't see coming, the one between the ribs. So we're going to send you back, and you're going to just be useful to us until we need you again. It's really cool.
Yeah. And then that leads into another issue 22, which is I think one of my favorite issues, and I think many people love this issue. It's more or less a silent comic, right?
Yeah.
And it's basically a group of assassins are sent to kill Zhaoling. Yeah, sent to kill, and it's just notes. Oh yeah, like the art just hums on this. Nick does a fantastic job on this. Like, just go back to that last one, Johnny, where she's under the water. Like, that's like a
almost colored like a background too. Like I like the hair in the water.
Yeah, like that, like beautiful splash page. The hair floating in the water, the blood's just starting to. Yeah, you see the arrows kind of. It's fantastic.
Like there is motion in a still scene. Like motion is one of comedy is the hardest thing to write in comics. The motion in still art, and this it really gives you that this like a sense of action to it that in just that one thing. And I love it's very, and it doesn't piss about with any subtext or context. We have the opening scenes which sets it,
establishes
it. Boom! It's just boom, boom, boom. Yeah, so it catches us almost unaware, panel to panel, because it moves so quickly. And then when you see her, like what they call quiches or whatever, like her like helpers, and then you just see them jumping in, and you're like, oh, what's going on? And then of course, what they actually say, the explanation for the unsuccessful raid is that, well, what we didn't not encounter, what's it called? What we didn't prepare
anticipate.
Anticipate. That's it. It's just how much they were willing to leave their lives behind to protect her.
Yeah. And I love, and like you say, there's no fucking around bit. That's established right on that first scene when you have the timer.
Yeah.
You have 1 minute to get this done. So the freneticness of the book, like, it's perfect. The way it's set up, the frenetic pace,
and also
fantastic.
The care on choosing what is in each of those panels to give that sense of speed and the exhilaration of the scene as well, because this is one of the best issues so far in the series.
It's the best issue of the whole run. This is my favorite comic of the past 15 years, but that is the issue that steals the scene.
It's really carefully and well thought of. Look, maybe he just has a natural flair for it, and I wouldn't be surprised. But Hickman is a very meticulous planner of comics, so just that give and take, the sort of the expansion and contraction of the story. Like what I'm saying is pacing, Joe. We have a word for it. It's called pacing.
Pacing, yeah. And I think this is an example of when a writer and an artist are just perfectly in sync for an issue.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a misstep.
They just harmonize. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're like completing each other's sentences, basically. It's fantastic. And the only time you really get to hear anything is the first page and the last page, right? There's any dialogue. And that last page, it's great. You see, and then of course, I love that last page, right? You're like, oh, it's you. That's that motherfucker again. This is where you're like, fucking Chamberlain.
He's a fucking cockroach, isn't he? The guy will be there after the nukes go
off. Man, do I love him though? He is one of my favorite villains of the past. I don't know. Yeah. I think he's fantastic as a villain. And right to the end, like I was telling Johnny, right to the end, I was like, are they gonna? Is Hickman gonna pull that? Well, we're not gonna get there. That's year 3, but it keeps you guessing right to the end with Chamberlain, right? You're like, because he seems so. He's not intimidating physically. He rarely raises his voice or is threatening to people. He's always really calm and collected, right? So
even when he kills the guy that fucked up the job, he just kind of, they're having drinks, he's acting like they might work it together again. And he's
very unassuming. He's very calm, collected, unassuming. never draws attention to himself unless it's absolutely necessary. He's he's like one of those villains that every move is calculated to the closest degree. So when that, and you see it, the expression on his face when the failure comes up on the message, he's like, fuck. Now my ass is showing. Because now they know, right? Now they know it's now it's a process of elimination.
And I love the vindictiveness of calling that bloke into his office, and he does a roll call of all the loose ends that could possibly lead it back to him. And he says, other than you, of course, but that's already been taken care of. And then the bloke starts going like, no, you'll never take me alive. And then he's like, fantastic. It was in the tea, you dummy.
Oh, yeah. We forgot to
say
that,
man.
Chamberlain introduces his niece as like his underling at the beginning of the first arc of this year that we're talking about. And yeah, she's like the Doma to his except she's like way more loyal, but like she's kind of got the same
for sure.
You know what I mean? Type of
as Doma is to Antonia is
Well, no, like Doma isn't with Antonia at all. Like
but she plays it off as she is.
Yeah. Whereas Chamberlain's niece is completely like 100%
Constance. Yeah.
I always want to call her Clementine because that's a good old Southern girl name.
Yeah, but it's Constance. Yeah.
Constance, that's another pretty good Southern girl name. Come on over, Constance. We're going to church.
And is the next issue the one that they go into the Freeman and Wolf story?
Yeah, dude. Like, and this is where we like kind of get one of my favorite heroes in the book. Like, I guess you could say, like we talked about Game of Thrones earlier. I said that John Freeman is our Jon Snow. You know what I mean? Like, he's been bred into this bullshit, but like. He's got his own machinations, and him and Doma are playing together here. I love this situation where like he's basically giving them this boatload of gold that he's not supposed to because like his dad already said no, but like he gave it to Doma and says like, well, hide most of it and then tell her like this is all we gave you, and like it's I love it. You know what I mean? Like you don't know where these kids are going with this shit, but like you know that they're not playing along. And like the last third of this book, like when we get to it, like man, the kind of a mini revolution happens within the Chosen, which dude, I live for it.
He's kind of like that classic "don't mistake my generosity for weakness" because he's the calm one, isn't he? He's the one that's having to keep his younger sibling like.
Keeps shooting his leg off.
Leg off. Yeah. He's always fronting like, "Oh man, you're nothing. You're shit." And
I'm
like,
number 9, but like I'm almost as good as the number 4.
Then he just blasts him. Yeah.
And then basically like also John Freeman did this as like a thing to do in front of this girl that he really likes. His dad's basically a snitch that like he's kind of like got to stay with him. She's called a visor. And our visor, and basically he did this to show her like this is what I got plans, and I want you to come with me because I like you, girl. And like he kind of explains like like Joe was saying, like there's like a background between him and Wolf. Like basically, they grew up together. Maybe he was taken and ransomed, kind of like what was the little dude's name that like was raised with Jon Snow, but like he was actually like from the islands or whatever. Gray, what's his name?
See, they established it at first. At first, I wasn't sure. I said, "Are they established them as like brothers, or is this going to turn into some kind of Brokeback Mountain shit?" I was like, at first, I was kind of
Wolf is naked. Like,
yeah. I was like, is this they're supposed to be brother type thing, or is it supposed to be a Brokeback Mountain type thing? I wasn't sure at first. I was like,
I think with how young they look here, like I think they're only supposed to be like 15.
No, but I meant like those like over the years, like they fall in love because he never really shows any kind of.
Yeah, he doesn't really show any kind of
romantic
affection at all to
like,
anybody besides like even the girl that he likes. He doesn't show as much affection to as he does Wolf.
And that's why I was saying, is it because he's secretly in love with Freeman, right? Like that's his true. That's why I was kind of questioning it a little bit, but yeah.
No, they're just good friends, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why some people can't understand why people just can't be friends.
Well, it's like in the Star Wars sequels where everybody wanted the worst actor in Hollywood, Jonathan Boyega and Poe Dameron to gay it up. And they were like, and they were like, no, they're just good friends. Just leave it alone.
Yeah. See, that's why I was wondering, because I'd never read it before, right? And I was reading, I was like, oh, are they going to throw that kind of in there to, for, because there's...
I'm surprised. So if you read it all, Joe, and this is your first time?
I've read it all a while back, yeah.
Oh, right. So it's not your first time.
No,
I was going to say, I've read it twice now.
So because like representation, like for a while there, it was like a hot button issue. There needs to be more of it. So I was wondering, is this
that's
pandering?
Fine.
Yeah, I was wondering, is this going to be like something that he's going to do just to pander, or is he going to stick?
Yeah.
But
there's a missing page that I was hoping that you would show, and there is some representation. There is
the two girls together.
The two girls together in coitus, entwined in coitus.
Well, we kind of jumped up like them plotting together, kind of.
In post-coital, I should say. A post-coital blow.
Talking about Doma and
the Widowmaker. I like how they talk in like Morse code too. They tap shit out to each other.
Yeah,
like,
that's so cool.
Talking.
Yeah, but that's only when they tap. When they move it like that, that just means one of them's horny.
But yeah,
time to hit the showers.
It works though, and girl, she's totally with John Freeman on his thing. She's gonna ride with him. What's her name again?
Naomi. Yeah, I believe it's Naomi, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Let's see. I had my character sheet open here. It starts with an N for sure. There's so many characters, it's hard to.
There is so many characters.
Yeah. She's not on here. Shara? There's a Shara.
Okay.
I don't know. Shit. Wait, I have two character sheets. Anyway, it doesn't really matter all that much. But let's see. Where's the other one? Oh, it closed on me. Son of a bitch.
There are so many characters in this book, man. It's not even funny. So
yeah,
anybody's like, how can you not know her name? Like, you try to keep track of them all, everybody in this series.
Yeah. You got Doma, and it's Naomi Adams.
Okay.
Unless the character sheet here is wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, like after that we kind of get back to Jude Law, and like he's kind of even Bauer, like the demon, is kind of like telling him like he's barking up the wrong tree and biting off more than he can chew, but like he thinks that like, oh man, I ate the word, so I am the word. So he's like making all these different scrolls to try to tell everybody what's up. And like it's cool, like Bauer makes like these Booer, or however you say it, makes these crazy like pterodactyl things that like bring the flesh scrolls to everybody. And like I love the different receptions to him, because like, you know, like he's just kind of looking uncomfortably at it. Other people barbecue him, and yeah.
It's those things are kind of like the Stranger Things series 2, maybe series 3.
Yeah.
When they've got the little ones going around the woods.
What the little pterodactyl things remind me of is if you've ever seen Trimmers Part 3 with the ass blaster trimmers. Like
yeah.
Joe, I've never seen Tremors. It's
what?
I know, it's just a little hole in. There's so many films, Joe. You can't see everything.
No, but I mean that was a fairly popular like monster flick from the 90s. I figured you probably would have seen it. Plus, it has Kevin Bacon in it, you know?
Well, I mean, have you seen Men in Black Men?
That's a porn?
Yes.
No,
but it's a classic. But it's a classic. See, everybody has holes in their knowledge.
I just assumed from the title.
You can't see everything, Joe. Is the point I'm making?
Yeah.
And then we kind of get left off here for a little while with the horsemen. They kind of like have Jed pour in like this boiling flesh into like these different and they kind of go into these chrysalises.
Yeah, this will be their third reincarnation, right?
No, not reincarnation. This kind of just helps age them up. Plus, it helps Conquest grow another foot because because in the first book, remember Babylon, like
I'll tell you one thing that I think a beat that this is missing. That do you know what this is? At the end of year 1, where they get to Babylon.
Yeah,
and then
they go down the tunnel.
And he's like, you've got 20 seconds. He goes, right, well, I wanted to do this learn experience, but there's not enough time. Just program me and I'll go out and do it. Now, Babylon doesn't really get the kill or the hit. It's Balloon. Balloon lets him go past and then lasers his foot off. Now, it's sort of canned him a little bit like Quantum Mania because we have no interaction with those 3 characters at all. In actual fact, they are no further along in this than they were at probably the end of year 1. They're almost superfluous from the story. They're just traveling and traveling and traveling and traveling. And the only serious interaction that we have with them, they basically get killed by a bunch of ants, or they're defeated by a bunch of ants, like Kang was. It's kind of like, they need to shit or get off the pot with these characters because at the minute they feel a little bit superfluous, and also the interaction they have, they were done pretty fucking quickly.
But
I think it's some cool ones, man. Like later on, like they kind of walk around the war battlefields and stuff, and like taunt the dying people. Like they get some pretty cool, crazy scenes. Like I think that they're just there to keep the menace up. You know what I mean? The menacingness of like the apocalypse up.
But that's what I mean. Like I feel like if you're going to do that to them at the end of the first thing, then you need to give them a win or to show them just how big. Oh no! Whoa.
Yeah. I'm not going to say saying like
I get it. But I just mean at this point, I've read 2/3 of this, and I've just seen them walking around and take a hit.
Yeah.
Like I would like to have seen some vindication of the menace.
Like where their influence is more direct.
Yeah, and they actually like show somebody that's undefeated up to that point, and then they just kind of like Thanos him away, and then you go, oh, now I get it. But just a side point, something I thought of when we were talking.
But that is one thing in this series that Hickman, he doesn't kill off characters just for that shock value. Yeah, kind of like The Walking Dead did. Like every trade, every 5 issues, there's like a character that he built up just so that you enjoyed that character, just so he could kill it off to get that. Oh my God, he did that.
Well, I thought the TV series handled it pretty well, and also the times when it deviated from the comics. Because I mean, I was reading them pretty much in tandem by the end of the 3rd series. I caught up, and then I said I had to wait for a trade to come out before I could watch to the end of one series. And I was so glad I did because it's one of the best scenes in the comics, and it was translated page to page. It was one of the most seminal moments in comics and adaptations I've ever seen. And when they're overrun in Alexandria, oh man, I won't spoil it for anyone. Well, it's ages old, but it's fucking sick. But when Kirkman, now the first 5 series is when I thought that was done really well, and then it sort of lost its way after that. And I didn't know, but Kirkman was spending 8 hours in the writing room for the TV show, up to and including the 5th series. And then he was like, I'm going home to write pages. So Allard's got them to illustrate in the morning, but he was illustrating them quicker than he could write them. And then he had all these other plates spinning at the same time. So he was getting like 4 hours sleep on the Monday to Friday, and it was killing like he was having no family time. So he had to give up one thing. Easiest thing was the TV show. And I think then it became gratuitous. End of series, well, who's going to die now? It wasn't like the take you by surprise death. So I agree I both agree and disagree with that, Joe. And also, it's a zombie. People have to die to start with. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. But I meant like there was none of those. Like Hickman never kind of resorted to that, where it's like he kept most of his characters around for the whole story and really established them. But it does come into play later on.
It's a delicate balance because you also have to feel that they are legitimately under threat. Like you have the chance of them dying still has to be there. Otherwise, it kind of renders the story sort of inactive. So it's a tightrope, and he walks it well.
Yeah,
Did they really kill anybody off in this though? To tell you the truth, I think like most people are like, even like Texas fell, but like Bell got rescued by a Ranger.
By the Ranger in the issue 16, right at the beginning. That's how issue 16 starts.
I mean, like there is going to be a bunch of like characters that do get killed, but like I don't think that anybody's died so far. Like
no, he saves it for the end, for the big, climax. That's where he starts to like, all right, now in real life when there's a huge war, people lose important players. So you'll see it eventually, but he does take his time. He doesn't resort to just, all right, let's do that splash page where the turn page. Yeah,
it's like Wolf's dad and like who else have they killed? Have they killed anybody?
Yeah. Well, like you said, a few minor players, but nothing.
Well, and they are minor players because they were killed. Like at the time, everyone had equal billing.
Yeah. So,
but basically,
just before we go on, I've had to move the fan right next to me because I'm sweating bullets. Can you hear the fan on the mic?
Nope.
Okay,
We've all got our fans on too, so it's no problem, man. Like,
mine's now here.
Okay, one of the little air conditioner things. Yeah, those are pretty quiet usually.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be like
doing the trick.
we're shooting the show from a plane now.
Yeah.
They'll just hear that little
that's my love egg. That's my love egg. Every time I've got it set up so I've recorded Joe laughing. Every time he chuckles, it vibrates. Thank you again.
You're gonna make me think of a John Lee's issue 11 of Sync now. Or is it issue 10?
10.
Yeah, the little bumblebee.
Good grief.
Yeah. So what are we at? We're
basically after Jude Law sent out like all the little flesh scrolls, like because he's like getting all rah with himself. Like Wolf gets his, and he's like, dude, like I know I said I'd ride with you, but like this guy's fucking around, and like I got to take care of something. Yeah. So like I am on your side, but like I'm just not gonna be with you, is what he tells him. And then like Crow tells him pretty much like, you will see your kid again. Like, but seeing is kind of like a funny term to use around you nowadays. So like kind of like also like laying in that kind of foreshadowing that I was talking about earlier. But and then you get this really cool splash of them riding away together, and like Death kind of being a little sad. And now we kind of just get into like what I was saying, like just to set up the action. Like Wolf, he goes to the Deadlands to talk to his uncle, and like he uses the ghost of his dad basically to summon him. And like he basically tells him like, dude, I know I've never told you about this stuff that's going on with the Chosen, but you got to work with me and come with me to this thing. And that's kind of like what we get a lot of this, like as a lot of people just arriving to you got Death. He's meeting up with Tracker again, and like they have a really funny thing. Like he's like talking about how his bar's all nice again, and he's like, yeah, but nobody ever comes and drinks here. And he's like, well, the bar's pretty full, and like, yeah, they're all my mercenaries. So you get this really kind of rad action scene where Death smokes like the bar room again. Is pretty cool. But like I said, like a lot of the rest of this is people, it's almost Tarantino-esque. Like it reminds me of Jackie Brown, of like how it's just people arriving to Jude Law's big meeting of the Chosen, and everybody just kind of being like snarky about it, because a lot of people are like, what the fuck's going on? This isn't like the end of the world that we signed on to. This guy's trying to make a Snyder cut out of it, you know what I mean?
Well, if it was the other way around, what's they call it?
Oh, you think he's trying to do the what's his name?
The Justice League.
He's doing the Joss Whedon cut. That's what Jude Law's trying to pull off.
Yeah, 100%. The second one was infinitely better. He took a legitimately bad thing and made it legitimately good.
Well, I think it was always legitimately good, but like Whedon made it bad.
Yeah.
Because like if you watch, I mean, this is a good like how did we get here moment. But like if you watch the two movies, they're not like similar at all. Like they have the same characters in them, and that's kind of fucking it. Like they're literally two completely different films. But yeah, I get what you mean. But like, yeah, this funny, really cool scene where like Hunter's kind of explaining like where they can track down all the AI things, so they can try to get a read on Balloon, and like basically the little eyeball in his little eyeball starts talking shit and telling Death that like he's setting you up, bro. Like this ain't right. So basically the eye sides with Death, and Tracker gets smoked. Hardcore.
Like that eye has been nothing but trouble. Why does he keep it around?
I don't know, because like it's linked to him, and like I think it's because he stores like all this information on it. It's kind of like Balloon. It's kind of like his hard drive. You know what I mean?
Right,
and that's why it kind of wants to go into Death's eye socket and connect with him. But like Death's just kind of like, no, I don't know what kind of creepy shit's uploaded onto you though. And then we get this
issue 28, I think, is the next one.
Yeah, where basically all the smoke really starts happening because John Freeman shows up, and like he sees Wolf, and like I said, like they hug it out, and like it's the most emotion you'll probably ever see from John Freeman, even more than he shows to his girl, except for maybe when he danced with her when he shot his little brother's leg off again. Yeah, that was kind of like another kind of oddly emotional scene with him.
Yeah, that's like the reunion of Wolf and Freeman. Yeah,
Wolf and Freeman, and also Wolf and Bell Sheridan, where he's just kind of like, dude, like I'm gonna fucking smoke you, like not in here because like we got the truce going on, but like you're not leaving this meeting alive, type of thing.
Yeah, that's where the tensions start to build, right?
Yeah, you get this great
page. So
90s comics, right? Like
I was gonna say this is.
I was just about to say that.
John Romita Jr. Tout craché, man. This is. I think
Todd McFarlane.
I get John Romita Jr. vibes big time.
Like his Spider-Man. His Spider-Man in early Spawn. This could be early Spawn.
I was gonna say Silvestri with the points, man.
Yeah.
Because Silvestri was right there with those guys, but his stuff was more angular, and like that's kind of how this is. Everything's kind of, you see like the Ranger's mustache, nose tube things.
But if you look at Romita Jr. from the 90s, like when he was doing like Cable, Punisher, totally like this, you know.
They do have triangle heads. That is Romita Jr.
Yeah. Fuck.
And like, basically, everybody starts telling Jude Law or Ezra that like they're not going to follow his bullshit apocalypse, and he starts wigging out that I am the word, and so like they just start shooting him. Like
that's a great page. That I love that.
Yeah,
like the blam going across on an angle, and it's just beautiful. Like
so,
the original. Imagine owning that original page and hanging it up on your wall.
Yeah,
it would be gorgeous. Yeah.
Would there even be original pages for this? It probably would have been.
No, because he did East of West digitally. He just started working traditionally recently for Absolute Batman.
Yeah, for Big Chunkus Batman.
Yeah,
which I'm so happy that Dragotta's still not finally getting his fucking flowers, man. He has been so great for so long, and I'm glad that like a book's finally come around where people because he's going to be getting those high-paying jobs now.
What's it, sequential something, anyway, one of the art dealers, the people who specialize in selling original pages for the artists, his representative or his art dealer strongly recommended that he draw all the pages traditionally for Absolute Batman, because he's like, they're gonna sell for insane amount of money. He's like, you're doing yourself a disservice by doing it digitally. He's like, I know it'll be longer, but financially it'll be extremely rewarding. And he did. So far, he's been doing all of Batman, the Absolute Batman traditionally.
Yeah. And let me just run it aside. I just had a really big sneeze. Now, if you weren't aware of how fat you've become, as I currently am, that there's nothing like a confirmation of that. It's when you have an energetic sneeze and you feel your boobies jiggle.
I thought you were going to say you shit your pants when you sneeze.
I'm fat. I'm not a pervert. Okay, I'm a pervert, but not for that
when
reason.
you're old. As you get older, as you get older.
I said fat, not old. Jeez, I'm old and fat. I'm the pervert. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm a hair coloring away from being president.
A really bad spray tan and bleach that hair almost white. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah. Fuck.
But this action sequence that we're in the book, man, like it's pretty intense, and it's about 2 issues long, right?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if it's 2.
It's the first one, and then it goes into the second one.
Yeah, it builds up. Yeah, and then I think you have one big issue of it, and then.
But like, there's some really funny stuff that pops off. Like, basically, because I told Jude Law that like they're not going to follow him, he drops there's like always the pilgrims at the place. So like he's calling them the army of God. So like they kind of drop in, and like you get some kind of funny action sequences, like with the Ranger and Bell, where he's got like his little grappling hook that like the dog hooks to his back, and it's like so like Hanna-Barbera cartooned out. Like I love that scene for some reason. It just cracked me up.
Yeah, and I think the 2 then you get back to Babylon after this sequence, right? After the whole falling where the meeting falls apart.
Well, I mean, like you got like a bunch of weird shit that happens, man. Basically, like a lot of people you wouldn't expect cut out together. Like more like John Freeman rescues Morgana. They're riding. They're all in the same ship with Chamberlain, and everybody's kind of together here, which is kind of weird. And the only people that didn't come to the meeting was Zhao Lin and the House of Mao. So
yeah, but it's very chaotic, right? You get a good sense of the chaos. Is this a scene where Wolf fights the beast?
It goes to the second scene, but yeah, there's
there's some great
and like Wolf basically like so his uncle can get away. The chief, like he like stays behind and like he fights it, man, and you kind of get this cool cliffhanger there, like it looks like Booer's about to snuff Wolf, which is really cool cliffhanger, man. We'll see in year 3, which whenever we cover that, hopefully soon, but like we are going to be going on a short hiatus here, so it'll be a little while until we cover it, but. Yeah. Hopefully not take as long as it took this time, but I'm kind of glad the third time was a charm, because like we said, like Spanky is liking the book way more now, so
and we still have the last 2 issues to talk about.
We got the last
back to Babylon and the mercenary bounty hunters.
These
2 issues, man. 28, 29. Woo, these were good issues. I like these 2 issues.
Yeah, like I said, like this ends with like 2 really great action scenes, and the mercenaries are so great. I especially love the robot Psalms, man. Psalms
great design.
Yeah, dude, he is so fucking rad. And like I love that like he's kind of got like the old person that like he was before he got uploaded as a robot. Character. And it kind of just pops in the third balloon, like in the middle balloon. Like he'll like have 3 balloons, and the middle one will just be like, "How come I'm here? Why did I shoot that little kid? What the fuck's wrong with me?"
Like all these characters could have their own miniseries at least. Every single person in this. Like when it goes away, this could be like the lead of a line. It's fantastic.
You got the leader, Black Gun Billy, who basically like talks like a wrestler. He's kind of like The Rock or like Ultimate Warrior. All he does is like, "You can't hurt Black Gun Billy. Black Gun Billy's black as the black."
It's a great character Billy design as well. The 2, the bullets vest, the furred collar. I mean, great design.
Rob Zombie.
Yeah, just a little cowboy metal kind of style.
And here's where we get back to Babylon.
Lemmy from Motorhead.
Oh, yeah, as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it definitely gives those vibes. Yeah.
And for Joe, the big spoiler, this is where we get back to Babylon and General Tuscus. Like I thought that he killed them, man, to tell you the truth.
You thought he did? Yeah.
Yeah,
I had no clue. Yeah.
Because this is Hickman, and like this book is hella serious. Like if it was in Manhattan Projects, probably not, because that's like a silly ass book that he did, but like and plus that scene where he's like standing there with the spear, that's the thumbnail,
very menacing.
It's so metal looking, you know what I mean? But it kind of shows, like I said, that like no matter what balloon tries to pull, Babylon kind of sees through the bullshit, man. Like it's like, but like it may be a monster, but it's little, you know what I mean?
It's
and like if I raise it, it's nurture over nature, so if I raise it, it's not gonna hunt me down for revenge.
And it becomes like, I love it. He gets his own, like, you know how everyone has a vehicle or something, and he's just often relying on Balloon to try to lift him, and the fucking cable breaks, and it's like, come on, fuck, or he gets stuck in the trees, or fuck off. Now he's got Professor Tuskanen or whatever his name is to ride. It's so cool. He's riding the boar, and it's this is where I was like, is it really just a year? Because this is like the last issue, right? It's the end of Apocalypse Year 2. So technically, it was one of the first 2 issues that they introduced the little piglet. So I was like, man, does a boar grow that quickly? Like, but I mean, it's comic. Who cares? Like, I mean,
most creatures do, don't they? Like even like a puppy will be a dog within 6 months. And but pigs, I think pigs take longer to age and that's why it's why the pork price fluctuates so much, and it's why the muck rib only comes back when pork prices drop to such a low threshold that only comes about once every 10 years that they can do it. It's not like it's not planned. It's just pork's cheap enough. Let's do the muck rib.
What's great about this action stuff is like you got Death like racing towards Babylon.
This scene,
and you're wondering, like, man, like, is he going to get there in time? And like, you don't really got to trip about that, man. Babylon's actually kind of badass, dude. Like,
but it does do a good job of building that tension, though, right? Yeah. It did. Like, you're like, oh yeah, and it's still you never believe that Babylon's in any real danger, but you have that little like kind of fuck, maybe something bad will happen though. Maybe he won't die, but maybe something bad will happen to him, right? So,
and it's the end of the year as well, so it would be a great way. Like, what? I mean, it'd be a fantastic way to end the second year, and then the fallout of it, because that might motivate Death, and then that might change everything. So it's within the realms of the story that it's built for it to happen.
Yeah, and it did say that like he never saw Zhao Lin again, and she said, "Bring my boy back to me," and like, that could lead you to thinking that like, he's not going to get there on time. Mm-hmm. But like, Babylon's got it covered. Like his little spear knocks a rock down, squishes the cat lady, I forget her name. Black Gun Billy, he completely gets
Mr. Tuskanen gets him.
the end that he deserved.
Yeah. But like then Psalms kind of gets behind him, but like he kind of starts talking his sad story, and Balloon kind of like, I remember you guys, and like they kind of remit and like Balloon basically kind of helps put him out of his misery. But then Black Gun Billy comes back. But then
actually Balloon was a little bit of a bitch, wasn't he, at this point? Because he was kind of like he wasn't going to realize he was that. He was like, who is he? And then he's like, well, he's whatever, and he goes, yeah, I am Death, but not the point I was getting to. I'm your dad.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if that was kind of like adopted parent kind of thing. Like, well, we waited till now to let you know who your parents are, but just know you've always been our son type thing.
Like you said, he's never seen himself, so the idea of parents is fucking odd to him. That's why, like, even when like Death's hugging him, he's like, "This feels weird." You know what I mean? He's got no concept of it. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have like really a concept of self, or didn't before, like kind of like this era of him. You know what I mean?
It's all still in there, though. It's all still in there. Like if you stuck a naked chick in front of him, then he's going to feel things, and he's going to know what those feelings mean. Do you know what I mean? They're still all in there.
Yeah. And like I know like how Death's kind of like talking shit to Balloon already, but he's kind of like, okay, get Balloon and like get on your pig and let's ride away together.
Beautiful,
like,
beautiful splash page that with the sunset and everything. Yeah, great. I love that splash page. Yeah. And then there's the last.
And then we ended off with the horsemen breaking out of there, and poor Jed becoming a fucking like dying there, man, because it took so long for them to a year to like crystallize. But I dig it, man. Like,
man, go back to that splash page of what's his name, Black.
Getting hit by Tuskus.
Yeah, look at like if you're gonna draw a silhouette page, that is fucking beautiful. Like for a silhouetted page, I love it. Very cool. And with the red, it really gives it that kind of like death, you know? Yeah, it was good.
So as a resident like newbie to the series, Spanky, how hyped are you for book 3, man? And the I can't wait to tuck into it. I can't wait to. I was my
my experience has completely changed the second time. Whereas before it was a bit of a drag, and I was like, okay, let's just get this done. Now I'm excited to finish it off.
How would you rate this kind of like middle, mid part of the journey?
Well, I always think the middle part of a trilogy, and it's why I give all the Lord of the Rings films 10 out of 10, because you have setup, subversion, climax, and the second one is only to almost undermine what you've done. So by its nature, it can't be the strongest point, but it's got to leave you in a place where it strongly sets up the climax. So it has to almost bleed into climax. Mm-hmm. And this does that perfectly. It's good. Yeah. It's good.
But I think with so many storylines, you do get the climax of Death and Babylon. Like that that comes to a conclusion, right? Death looking for his son and he finds him safe. Yeah. So you do get so he's clever in the way he does that, where he ties up one little thread there. So
it's a great use of the B story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you read year one, you think that's going to be the major like story is Death going for his son, but it really just becomes okay. Yeah, Death is still looking for his son while all this other crazy shit's going on, and that comes to the forefront. Like, yeah. So I mean,
in actual fact,
earlier pacing, Spanky, like he is a master at it, in my opinion, right? Yeah. Like especially like.
Yeah, and in actual fact, the first year was more about setting the characters and what they meant and who they are. And the second year was very much more about relationships, and a lot of them were just like two people's relationships and how they relate to each other. It was a series of one-to-one relationships and developing all of those throughout. And I'm interested to see if that goes from singular to duo, and then does it become about group dynamics? And in the final one, I'll be interested to see if it expands to that tertiary level of relationship.
Oh, yeah, I think you'll like it because you get a lot more of the horsemen, like hands-on with them. You get a lot. You get some really cool stuff with Wolf. Like Wolf kind of really becomes.
Yeah, because you get a lot of the backstory of Death.
Is he not? He's not Dunzo then.
Fuck! I did spoil something for you. I'm sorry.
But I mean,
you'll have to see how he comes out of it, though. Like if he.
Oh, never mind. Let's just fucking cut it there.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. But I mean, like you are right. They do establish like Loma and the Widowmaker, Freeman and Wolf. So you do establish these much more personal stories in the backgrounds to them, connections. Yeah. So
and it'll be, like I said, it'll be interesting to see if that goes from secondary to tertiary.
Yeah. Because definitely, like the bigger war that's coming, like between the factions, is definitely gonna chew up a lot of that year 3, right? So, Chamberlain, like, can he? Yeah, man. Does he actually have a heart? Or is he just black all the way through? Like, yeah. Chamberlain's awesome. I love that character.
Yeah, I really loved this part of the story because it really did introduce us some really cool protagonists. Because I dig Death, I think he's really cool, but I like that in this you kind of almost get okay, Death is a big part of this, but he's not going to actually be the hero of the story. The heroes are actually the kids that are coming up.
And like I said, there were characters that you like that you should dislike.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But no one's 100% good or bad, in any sense of it, and it does a good balance of each side.
Well, I think the only character you could say that is genuinely good, and it makes sense because he's so young, is Babylon.
And there's only one you could say is all the way evil, and that's Archibald, man, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And maybe Jude Law. Jude Law at the end there got really up his own ass, cult leader. Yeah. Evil, but not as evil as Chamberlain, because Chamberlain's one of them guys that just establishes themselves and
he's a slug.
There. He's a tick,
he's a snake in the grass.
He's a slug.
Yeah. So man, year 1, year 2, 1 year left.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully, ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, on my podcast, what we say is you cannot 7 out of 10 read or watch something. So it's a simple question, Joe.
Yes.
Would you recommend East of West thus far?
Well, you already know my answer, and it's a resounding yes. I consider this like a modern classic, right? Although it's getting a little long in the tooth now, so I don't know if it'll just call it just a classic from now on. But I consider it a modern classic because it's still fairly within the last 15 years this book came out.
Well, I think it only wrapped up in 19, right, or 20.
Yeah, so modern classic. I consider a modern classic, so I highly recommend you read this. I mean, Hickman tells a fantastic story. Nick Dragotta fucking illustrates it beautifully. You know, he interprets it magnificently with the pages. I mean, there aren't really very many negatives I can throw at this thing.
Well, after this and Deadly Class, for me personally, I haven't been able to find another ongoing to like kind of like take the place or like that even comes close to like what those two books kind of had going on.
Yeah, that captures your
I guess
it come out, but like none of them are ongoing. You know what I mean? Like but like we'll see. Like they're bringing Vertigo back. I'm not really happy with the creative teams they've announced so far, but like I don't know. Hopefully, like some. Good
it's just daft. That whole situation is daft. It's so
stupid.
Silly.
Like
it's so silly.
Vertigo creates creative teams, man. There was no Az and Rizzo before. But now they're just using other people's established creative teams. They just got the 20th Century Men creative team. They got the what's it called? And what is that book called? The Texas Blood creative team.
Chris Condon. Yeah.
Chris Condon.
Philip.
And then but like they're already established. Vertigo's supposed to establish the talent, man. They were
I know what you mean, but I mean that's only because we know. And I guess comics is a kind of you either know or you don't. But like if I was to watch, like let's put it this way: if you've got exclusively a film podcast and you're just doing a bit of background reading, you won't know about them. And I think that this is the kind of thing that can break through that to not Gen Pop, but like
I don't know, man. I tried to read Tinian's Nightmare book, and it was terrible, dude. Like the only thing that's like actually been like superb is Spurrier's Hellblazer, man, to tell you the truth. And I like The Dreaming by Spurrier. That was a really fun take on like a spin-off of Sandman that like did really good. But like
Tinian is good though. He is good.
I've liked everything else. He has bits, but
what was the one that was like X-Files? Department of Truth.
Department of Truth.
Oh man, that was excellent. I've still
the art in it was great. The art in it was really good.
Yeah, because I bought it, didn't I? And I left it at the cinema.
You forgot it. Yeah.
And for the last 2 issues or 3 issues, I can't bring myself to spend another 45 quid. I mean, it's been knocked down to like 35 now, and I kind of like even then. But I do want it because it's one that I want to have. And then when it goes out of stock, I'll be like, oh, I should have bought that one. Ugh.
Yeah,
but I mean, like we're going to be talking about some old school Vertigo on this spinoff on this formatted show in the near future, and we're also going to be talking about canceled creators that we liked. You know what I mean? And we're going to go into that a little bit. Joe and we're going to cover the season 2 of the Sandman TV show because we did a first season, and we're going to.
Is that out now?
No, soon, like within a month or something, it's dropping. Yeah.
We're going to cover that. We're going to discuss, Neil a little bit and how we feel about it. But like, also a big thing because like it's an important book to me and it's an important book to Spanky. And plus, a lot of people have wondered what my take on Warren Ellis has been since it's happened. So I think after we cover Monstrous in a long time from now, but like eventually we are going to be covering Transmetropolitan on the show. And it's going to be it's going to be a pretty interesting discussion because the way that like especially DC is pushing old Warren's books right now, man, it's kind of almost like he's getting uncanceled a bit, and like that's a weird situation. And you want to discuss it a little bit now? I mean, or do you want to show Joe?
I don't think so.
I don't have much to say. Basically.
I mean, I think it's. there's a short answer to a long conversation, and that is rehabilitation has to be a thing, and also you do have to take into account an environment at the time, and
Also,
good people doing bad things.
For me, as a person that's read him since like 1998, I knew that he was a fucking asshole, a world-class almost piece of shit. So the fact that like it came out that like I wasn't a fan of him because of him as a person. I like his writing, and like you know what I mean. So,
but like there's a massive conversation to be had about it. But you have to believe in rehabilitation. You can't just wipe people off completely without giving them a chance to change, and that's the long and short of where I am. And that's just simply not the way anything works, is it? Like,
I agree with you there. Why do we have a penal system in place if rehabilitation isn't? Then what's the point?
Even if you go to the So Many website, they say that like they don't want to cancel Warren. They don't want people to not cover the books that he's done because they believe that like he's done impressive works and that it's not fair to the artist because like we're going to talk about the cover of Transmetropolitan. Derek Robertson drew his fucking ass off in that book. It's still probably his best art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's not a singular person, right? There's a lot of people that work on these things. It's not just one person.
Yeah, but like I said, there's a big conversation. I'm just wary that we've been on for 90 minutes already when we could give it its deserved
proper due
investigation. Like I said, a short answer to a very long conversation. I mean, that could be an episode in itself.
Yeah.
So
but middle book of 9, East of West, dude, 9 out of 10. Can you 9 out of 10 read something, Spanky? Or
nah, you've got to just read it or not, mate. It's if you recommend it or not. But there is a top of the pile and there's a bottom.
yeah. So it definitely makes it to the top.
We just use different words like, well, if you've got nothing else to watch, then yeah, sure.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Once it hits streaming for free, then sure.
I wouldn't stop anyone watching it, and I'd be curious to see what they say, but I wouldn't say go out and watch it.
Yeah, we don't really have anything coming up until the 19th of July. We're going to be talking to Monty Nero. It's going to be another afternoon episode for us, evening for him. But Joe is working his butt off on our beautiful comic book that's upcoming, and it's going to be a Montreal Comic-Con exclusive. So if you're in the area, like go by the 3-pass table and pick one up. But until then, man, and do you think you're going to get it done by the 4th, Joe? Or
it's going to be tight. It's getting tight. Yeah. So I'm thinking I should be able to, but we'll see.
Have you started the inks at all, or like, are you still tightening up your pencils?
No, I'm starting the inks. I should be starting that this afternoon, actually.
Sweet. So we're going to be on a bit of a hiatus, and
I just want to say before we go, I just want to say how proud I am of Joe, because all this podcasting stuff came out of COVID boredom. And I saw a group of people that really knew what they were talking about, and I wanted to put together a podcast. Now, I bit off way, way more than I could chew, and I fucked it off pretty as quick as I thought of it. Now, me and Joe, me and Tim are basically the last vestiges. Sometimes Brian, sometimes Tara. But what I've seen from Joe at the beginning to what he's doing now, with his input into how did we get here, like how he can talk about films, he can talk about comics, and he's always got something. I mean, if we're left to our own devices, it just gets fucking silly. Like, he's a joy to do this with. And now to see him making a comic, like, I'm genuinely proud of you, mate, because you just take all this on and you do it with consummate ease. And I'm sure it takes a lot more effort than I'm giving it credit for. But it's just amazing to see you doing all this stuff and doing it so well.
To tell you the truth, Spanky, the only reason why we have a show still is because of Joe. Like, when a certain thing happened, like early on in the show, I got really disheartened, man. And like, I kind of just wanted to fucking pack it in. It was his enthusiasm and him doing thumbnails and him wanting to make intros and like all of his work is like reinvigorated me to where like I actually love doing this shit again. You know what I mean? Damn the reason why I wanted to quit. You know what I mean? But like, dude, Joe, he is a ride or die, and like he was like the wild card. I barely knew him when I invited him, and I
same,
didn't know if he was the one that I wasn't sure was going to last. And like, man, he is the show. You know what I mean? For the most part, and he is this comic book. I'm calling it ours, like because like, but like I can't really claim too much. I helped with dialogue. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, well done, mate. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
No problem, man. Like,
well, I mean,
everybody deserves a glazing every now and then, especially when they put in the work that you have, dude. Like, I mean, look at that fucking background. Look at how many creators come on and just love the intros and the backgrounds you do for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's I do it because it's fun just to hang out and talk to you guys, you know?
Yeah,
like,
no, that's...
I don't have too many comic friends and like in real life, like that outside of like socials. So I don't get to talk to them. Like they're more about like, anyway. You know,
I know.
I get, you know, so it's the only time I really get to talk about this stuff and really go into depth where someone doesn't just roll their eyes if I start, you know, like, you know, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's in large part because of you guys too. I mean, like I was telling Spanky, even if I didn't do the podcast, I'd still want to talk to you guys at least like once a month, you know, and touch face and like kind of see what's going on. So
dubs in the chat for Joe. I see there's 3 of you watching, man. Come on. Dubs in the chat for Joe.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks guys. I appreciate the encouragement.
And wish him luck, man. Like he's got like quite an
100%.
undertaking. Inking, lettering, and doing word bubbles for a comic. That's a lot of work, and he's gonna try to do it like in 2 weeks.
No, 2 weeks. Yeah, I have 2 weeks
I
left.
get it printed, so like
I have to get it printed. That part already kind of got covered. So I already scratched one thing I originally planned was this prestige style. I'm just gonna do straight like zine, like get it just done and down and dirty, as cheap as possible, right? So I'll still do the prestige style thing later. That I was only gonna send to friends, like anyway. So it's not. I didn't really need it for the con. That was more like something I was gonna do special for all my friends that kind of like you guys just did, like supporting me and encouraging me and stuff. I was gonna put something a little nicer together for you guys, and then you know, the rest of the people get the cheapo version.
But having spoken to us for an hour and 40 minutes, you've now realised that probably wasn't a good idea.
Well, that's why we're taking a little break, because especially last week it was tough. It was hot here, and after a long day of physical labor, I'd get home and I was just fried. Like I did a few small things, like I touched up some of the pencils and stuff. I really wanted to start inking last week, but I was just burnt after my days and stuff. So yeah, I wasn't expecting that. So, you know,
and anybody wanting to check out the comic, man, like you can see the pencils. Like go to our Instagram, the xHWGH pod, I believe is the @ for that, and then Joe's @ is right there as his name, O Joe Pocket. And
I'd have to repost the finished pencils. That was just the thumbnails, though.
You have the the one that has like all 6 pages, and the cover and the 5 pages, like all in one picture, right? Still on there?
No, that was the thumbnails. Those were just the thumbnails to lay it all out.
That's
the pacing.
Cool enough for people to see. So you can go see like what the book is going to kind of look like, but like Joe's actual finished pencil art, it's so crazy. Like you even he had Adrian jealous the other night showing them off, man. So yeah. That's cool.
Well, I'll make a post so people can see that.
Cool beans.
Cool, man.
So yeah, we'll see you guys on the 19th if we see you. Take it easy, y'all.
Yeah. Outro time.